Hello and welcome to the Neckbeard experience. I'm going to be doing episodics, or compilations of subscriber stories and some of the well-known episodes from Reddit. And I'm going to make them their own episodes, so I'll be able to get them out a little bit quicker and also be able to spend more time on each one. Also, I've got my Twitter set up. I've had it going for a while. I'm going to be more active on it than any other social media, so if you want to see some Neckbeard news or some other funny stuff I found on the internet, and also ask me any questions, go over there and follow me. I'm thinking about having a contest for mugs or shirts or something very soon, so I'll keep you up to date as to when that's going to happen. So here we go with the next installment of College Beard. So turn up that volume and here we go. This story begins just after Christmas exams at university, in the time between finishing them and returning home. I love Christmas, and this Christmas was especially good, for the soon-to-be disclosed reasons. Here's your cast. I'm Festus. I'm your narrator, male, age 20, 6'3", and I'm Christian. I'm dating Lady K, and I'm loving life at this point. Lady K, the object of the beard's affection. The wonderful milady, the damsel in distress, the suffering maiden. Yep, all of that. She's 19, sporty and athletic. We've been friends since I was 10 years old, and she's also Christian. Andrew, or Mr. Dorito. He's 20 years old, exceedingly arrogant, seriously obese, and all-around white knight. New character hype. My mom. She's about 53, gray hair, but she's the nicest woman you will ever meet. So kind in everything. She's also Christian. She cooks like a 5-star chef. My dad, he's 54. He's got a PhD in math, very smart, and Christian. And he always tries to do his best for all of his kids, but sometimes doesn't manage. But he's an all-around fantastic guy. The enabler, Andrew's mom. Quite a nice woman, but she spoils her only kid. Andrew hates her, but she's actually very kind and compassionate. She's a friend of my cousin's, which is a very important detail. Now, Christmas parties at university are the thing to go to. Everyone drinks, everyone parties, and usually we play a bunch of kids games, and they're actually fun, like musical chairs, Twister. It got to be around 1 a.m. at the party, and the people started getting really drunk. Myself and Lady K included. We went and found a quiet room, and we did couple stuff for a while. I found out later from a girl that apparently some large, foul-smelling guy had been asking about Lady K and giggling to himself. According to her, he was holding something behind his back he didn't want anyone to see. Returning to my room, I made coffee for us and handed Lady K her clothes before starting to pack. We had to clear out our rooms at the end of every trimester. I also packed a bunch of Lady K stuff that gravitated to my room. After she was done in the shower, we switched places. She packed all of her stuff in my room, and I showered. It was just as I was coming out of the shower, there was a knock on the door. So I answered it, but I was only wearing a towel. Surprise, surprise, it's Andrew.
Oh, hi Festus. Is Lady K in there?
I considered the mound of blubber before me, like a slightly evolved well, with none of the natural beauty of wells. Now, there's something you've got to understand about Lady K. She is very mischievous, and she will prank someone if they open themselves up to it. Like Attenborough regarding a seal pup devoured by an orca, I watched in fascination as she mouthed the words,
"Keep him busy."
So with the utmost dignity and grace, I stuttered out, "Yeah, just getting out of the shower right now. You can wait for a bit if you want." Hook, line, and sinker. He bought the prank. Lady K had quickly, and out of sight of the door, stripped down to her underwear and wrapped a towel around her body, as if she had just come out of the shower, implying that we were showering together. She stepped up to the door, leaning on my shoulder, and says,
"Oh, hey Andrew. Festus and I are a bit busy at the moment. Could you say what you wanted to say?"
Andrew was speechless. He was red all over and quivering in fear. For once, he got social cues and the obvious implications. Shaking, he pulled from behind his back a large purple-wrapped Christmas present with gaudy ribbons and gave it to her with 2 hands. Lady K took the gift, thanked him, and made to close the door. However, before she can fully close the door, he managed to get out.
I hope you enjoy using your gift, despite whatever kind of relationship we're in at the moment. Always remember that there are other, better guys out there for you.
Intrigued, we opened the gift. And what was inside? A whole lot of atheist literature. The God Delusion, Selfish Gene, and The Blind Watchmaker, among other things. In an obviously open box, containing a pink vibrator and a tube of lube. I wish that I could say that I made this up, but I'm not. And told her to enjoy using it. Insert nausea here. I did not trust this vibrator, as the box had been very obviously disturbed. I threw it from the highest mountain into the fires of Mount Doom, and then nuked it to dispose of it. Or I just put it in the bin, one or the other. I didn't want to think about why the boxes were opened, and I definitely didn't want Lady K to be using anything he touched, ever. After finishing packing my room, we relocated to Lady K's room, packed up all of her stuff, and then cleaned up the room, just like we did to mine. Halfway through, the girl from across the hall told us that she heard someone at Lady K's door scratching and fumbling with the doorknob, accompanied by some heavy breathing, and finished off with some shoulder slams against the door. We dismissed the events, just Andrew being a freak as usual, and went on packing. Now, for the last few years, Lady K's family, just her mom and dad, had invited me around for a week. Then, after Christmas, my family had invited Lady K around for the new year. This year was no different, but I'm gonna skip the week with Lady K's family and go straight into when Lady K and I went to my mom and dad's. We were preparing to travel up to the country to visit my cousins for the new year. It's about a 5-hour drive, which is actually pretty long for the UK. So we set off quite early so we can arrive around lunchtime. I was wearing one of the gifts that Lady K got me for Christmas. It was an engraved stone, threaded with some soft paracord, and it hung around my neck. She was wearing a small silver bracelet that I got her. Being 21 at this point, and a very responsible adult, I drove my ancient little car up with me and Lady K inside. My mom drove herself with my dad. Upon arriving at my cousin's house, I noticed a strange odor, like crushed and stale Doritos mixed with Dorito pizza and blended into a milkshake, as well as a thick sweat that only one certain individual can produce. My cousins are lovely people, but a bit too accepting at times, and to their eternal shame, they had invited over a family friend and her repulsive offspring. Of course, it was the enabler and Andrew. I had known Enabler for quite a while, but I hadn't known that her son was Andrew. Or rather, I'd hoped that he wasn't. The first thing she said to me was,
Well, Festus, my Andrew tells me that you two enjoyed your first term at university together. I hope he hasn't been getting up to no good with any of the girls on campus.
I almost told her. Almost. As it was, I decided to hold it back, or until a time that he made me the most mad, and I said nothing.
I understand that it was Andrew who helped to get you and Lady K together. How'd he do that?
I nearly popped a vein when he said that. As is, I must have been worryingly red in my face, because Lady K came to my rescue, spinning a tale about Andrew persuading me to ask her out. I could have kissed her for saving me, but the story itself made me want to hit something. So I did the only thing that a reasonable British person could do. I made tea for everyone to avoid conversation. My family knew about the relationship between myself and Lady K at this point, and as such, sleeping arrangements were devised to keep us apart after hours, with Lady K sleeping in my female cousin's room on an inflatable air mattress, and me sharing the lounge with Andrew. So by evening, everyone was full of food, feeling full and satisfied. We all made our way to the lounge to watch some trashy TV Christmas specials. It was so bad and hammy that it was actually good. The atmosphere was chilled out and relaxed, and everyone was comfortably buzzed. Alas, the perfect evening was not to be, as Andrew spotted the silver bracelet on Lady K's wrist, engraved with both mine and Lady K's name, which, like a red flag to a bull, caused him to explode in anger. He poked me in the ribs unexpectedly, causing me to jerk my arm from around Lady K's shoulder to cover my side. Lady K removed her hand from my thigh and looked angrily at Andrew.
So,
Andrew cried.
you have labeled her as your own with a token. Yet you're too much of a wussy to get her a ring?
He spoke as if he made a great victory over me, loudly, so that everyone blaringly looked at him. Lady K and I are taking our relationship very slowly, but I did intend to marry her at some point when I had the money, just not now. Lady K was the first to respond, and in an icy tone she said,
"What the hell are you talking about, Andrew?"
While gesturing her hand dismissively. Andrew didn't like that. Andrew wanted the bracelet gone, as though it was the only thing keeping our relationship together. So he grabbed Lady K's wrist. He pulled the little silver bracelet viciously off her wrist. She cried out as it dug into her skin, causing angry red marks to appear on her wrist. Then the bracelet snapped, showering the room with little silver beads. The engraved silver charm with our names on it was flying into the ether, never to be seen again. We were all furious, and Lady K ducked out of the room, so I followed her. While the following events were happening, Lady K and I were sitting outside on the garden furniture, and I was trying to comfort her. I didn't see what happened next, but my dad told me everything. The enabler jumped up and was facing down my mom, who was furiously shouting at Andrew. The enabler shouted some choice words about my mom's parenting skills before my mom went for the killing blow, saying,
"At least my son has less mass than a young whale, you witch."
Then Andrew got all up in my mom's face yelling,
"You can't talk to my mom that way!"
and making as if to hit her. But my cousin's father and my dad pulled him back and was shouting at him. The enabler's face apparently went white, whereas Andrew was red as Dorito dust. The enabler and Andrew stormed out of the house. That night was much better than I hoped, as Andrew was no longer taking up half the house, and I even got the big sofa to sleep on, which surely would have been stolen by Andrew due to his back problems. Despite the fact that my feet and hands hung off the smaller sofa, I never found all the bits to that bracelet, and Andrew was not going to buy a replacement. But in its place, I got Lady K a beautiful necklace instead. If you want some advice, never, ever spend Christmas with a neckbeard. They'll ruin the best holiday of the year. If you enjoyed these stories, please leave a like and subscribe for more. All stories from Reddit and other external sites are linked in the description below. If you have any stories you'd like to share, you can send it to my email at funwithfailure@gmail.com. And for just $1 a month at Patreon, you can get advanced audio broadcast. The link is in the description.